So any ideas for the night?
Hold on.
Set up on YouTube or
Let's see. So so we passed the next class. I don't know. Let's open it up for questions. I mean, I think I'm one to think that we can train all day about whatever we think that might not be what they need.
right.
I know that a lot of people don't ask questions.
You know, it's like they ask questions until we ask to ask questions.
Yeah, if we don't ask, then they got them in the thing. Let's see. Let's start off with raise your hand with a question.
So I'm gonna go ahead and here.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, guys, we're gonna be taking some questions, so get your questions ready. If you know you have one already, put your hand up, put your little virtual hand in the air. If you don't know how to put your virtual hand in the air, then when we ask, then you're gonna have to just cut your camera on and put your physical hand up or something so we know you're there. Hope everybody's having a great beginning of your week.
Hello.
Ice is off.
How you doing?
Hello, hello.
Lynette.
Hey,
Good morning,
Miss
everybody.
Lynette, how are you?
Hey, everybody.
Good morning, good
Happy
morning.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi there.
Give me about 60 seconds and I know I'll be talking in about 60 more seconds. I'm just trying to make sure I get this out to a couple of more people. Okay, I see one hand up, Regina Strickland. All right, guys, how many people we got on here? 29 people so far. We got one hand up. One hand up. I know we don't have 29 people minus me and Sharanda that's on here, coming here to get information. And only one person has a question. And I know some of y'all don't know how to raise your virtual hand. So
I actually have 6, and I emailed them to Sharanda earlier, and I'm sure I have more since then, but
well, hopefully some of the answers to these questions will be answers that other people are looking for too, but they're not asking. And hint, hint, if you are scared to ask a question on this call with all your friends and family, that is probably why you're not picking up the phone to call nobody. You won't even talk to us. And we family. Oh, I see another hand. I saw another hand up. Vanessa here. Okay.
I did go through some more of your videos, but they were like 4 years old, and I wasn't sure what had passed, what had changed since then.
Oh yeah, don't look at those old ones. No,
Yeah.
don't look at those old ones. Look at the ones, if you go to the CDLP sales motivation area on my YouTube channel, the more recent ones will be at the top, and they'll have like episode whatever by them. So like this today is episode 108. So I always try to tell people to go back, like walk yourself backwards. That way, you're getting the most current information and then going back instead of starting with the old stuff and coming forward. Yeah, because now nothing on the plan has changed. So whenever it's conversations about things that the plan are doing for the truck drivers, no, that's not going to change anyway because the CDL plan hasn't changed. But some of our approaches have changed, different things that, that we're looking at.
This is the lounge meeting. And I don't see where you're doing those anymore. Are you still doing the lounge?
The lounge meetings you can still do. They've opened back up to still do those. So yeah, lounge meetings are doable now. They had stopped probably, March of 2020 when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
But now people are back doing like lounge meetings. And I know John posts a lot of pictures where he's sitting at the companies that he's working with, and he has his whole setup. He's got his banners, he's got his socks, he's got his materials, and he's talking to drivers one at a time, which is the same thing. So whether you're in the lounge or outside in a parking lot of the trucking company, it's still all the same effect. And I know John has probably been back doing that for probably close to a year.
John who?
John Hoffman.
And he's in our group on Facebook.
He's a CDL, he's the West Coast CDL trainer, one of the West Coast CDL trainers.
But he's in our group.
You mean, what is our group? What do you call it?
The commercial driver certification training group.
Yeah, he's in the group and he gets on here.
And his name's John?
Yeah, John Hoffman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. John Hoffman. All right, so let me do something here. Let me pull this over here and start with these questions. So I'm gonna start with you, Regina, and then we'll go from Regina to Vanessa. And then if anybody else has any questions, like I said, raise your hand. If you don't, when we're done with the hand raised individuals, we will then see if anybody that just does not know how to raise their hand have a question, because some people don't know how to use the Zoom raise your hand feature. So before we get started, I'm gonna let Sharana do a quick introduction, then I'm gonna do a quick introduction before we start answering questions so that you guys know who we are, because there's always new people here. Oh, real quickly, I'm sure you got this too, Sharana. I don't know who else got this, but corporate sent an email saying that the link wasn't working anymore, the Vimeo link. They sent another email out saying to use the current link. I'll drop that link in the chat, the CDL link for the video, CDL video. They said the old video link wasn't working anymore. And Dawn Maple sent another link today saying use that link instead. So while you're doing your introduction, I will drop that in the chat real quick.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Sharanda Ivy here in Byron, Georgia. Been with Legal Shield 9 years, about 9.5 years. Focusing on this space. I am a 50K ring earner, Emerald Elite, specializing in CDLP and small business sales. Number 1 field trainer for 2021 and 2019. Number 2 last year with new groups open for the entire company. We've written and going on almost 2,000 personal memberships. So we have the 1,000 App Award, Production App Award, and just focused on working with associates here in this space. I do have, I have a diverse book of business with different companies, but I chose a few years ago to focus on this space. And so that's what I do. Most every day I get up, like Lamar says, and help protect trucking companies with their business and their drivers. And so I host the accountability call on Thursday nights. And so more like a mastermind where associates are there sharing their, just their tips, asking questions, and we all pitch in to support each other. So with that, back over to you, Dunbar.
All right, good stuff. So I just dropped that link in the chat. So use that Vimeo link for that CDL video. And I guess if you guys are using the link in your prospect or wherever you're pulling it from on your prospecting app, it may still work there. I'm not sure. They didn't say whether it was working there or not. They just said that video link was broken that we were originally using. So that is the new link. So Robert Dunbar, been a trainer for 7 years, been with Legal Shield for 13 years. worked different areas of Legal Shield over the last 13 years. I am a 100K ring earner, got two 50K ring earners on my team. And for me, business solutions arena has been the most promising arena because I really love the idea of the control and of the residual income aspect of building a book of business. So if you're into talking to companies, right? If you're that person that's saying, hey, I like to talk to companies, not people, right? Then that's what B2B is for. So a lot of times I'll mention B2B and people truly don't know what B2B is or B2C is. So for those who don't know that, B2C is business to customer. That means you as a business owner are talking to a customer. That would be like if you just sold a regular legal identity theft CDL plan to an individual versus selling it to a business. When you're selling a business plan or opening up groups, you're doing B2B. So you got B2B and B2C, so that's where that's at. So hopefully that's helpful to everybody on the call. Let me see if John is wrong before I open up these questions. Okay, he's not here. All right. So let me go ahead and open up to Regina Strickland. If you can open up your mic, and if it's possible for you to open up your camera, that'll be great too, so we can pull you up here on the board with us.
Well, it's late. Yeah, not I'm very camera shy.
Very camera shy.
Very, very camera shy. Okay, there you go. I'm here. I'm real. So I'm new to Legal Shield. I've only been here a couple of months. I really didn't find my way on the networking side. I didn't even know that there was a business solutions until recently. And then I found the CDL and I took that a couple of weekends ago, and I really related it because like my stepdad was a driver and my brother, and I remember them sitting at the table doing logs. So I've got questions because I just feel like I could be at home in this market. I went back and watched some of the older videos on the on your channel. I did the Q3 and Q4, both was very helpful. And then I went through a lot of the other videos, and in different ones, and I can't even tell you which ones, but different ones that kept talking about different plans. Like someone in there was saying, well, I only offer the super. And there was another one that said, I only offer the super with a small business. And so I just don't know what plan are we offering.
Gotcha.
That's the first question. I've got about 7.
So to answer that question, definitely don't get overwhelmed. So that's the first thing I tell you. Legal Shield has a lot to offer, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So if you're thinking, hey, I want to do CDLP. With the super plan, I wouldn't get into that right now. Like for you, like I think you need to understand the basic plan first. Typically what we sell is the basic CDL plan and the family plan. Like as of right, because we want them to have regular protection for regular legal issues plus the CDL. Now you will have some people that say that's the identity theft. The super can't be sold in every state. Plus for us, there's certain circumstances that they would probably use the super. And again, because you're new, I would concentrate on the low hanging fruit. Meaning you looked at 3 and 4 on those trainings. I wouldn't go into a lot more of those trainings. Again, not because it's not important information on them, but right,
Get lost.
Yeah, you can digest it. If you looked at 3 and 4 again, and again, Sharana is going to speak, and she may give you similar advice. She may tell you some additional things. So I want you to know, like, if you don't look at nothing else, I would suggest looking at those 2 trainings again.
Oh yeah.
Before you still go and start looking at other trainings that might throw you off, because those are kind of the bread and butter. Meaning it's talking about the script, it's talking about where to find companies at, how to pull their safety score, and how to
Mhm.
call on them. And that is the most important thing to get moving. All the other stuff will sidetrack. That's just my opinion. So I would stick
Yeah,
to
definitely.
those two trainers, 3 and 4. And the only plan I would look at selling right now is the basic CDL and the family plan. And if you've got some owner operators and things like that, or smaller trucking companies, Sharanda may or may not mention about selling the small business plan when she talks. But
Mhm.
that I wouldn't, all those other plans, once you get more comfortable, more understand the industry a little bit better, so that you don't get so overwhelmed that you don't do
Mhm.
it. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
I would just take that super out of your mind right now. I wouldn't look at offering too much identity theft off the back until you start getting comfortable making that
Oh, yeah.
deal in regular legal plan sale. Get comfortable doing that before you start, getting them fancy foot moves on the dance floor.
So,
That's my answer to it. So I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda first to answer on that too, before you go ask your next question.
well, it's pertaining to, isn't the super plan, the basics with the family, isn't that basically what the super plan is?
Give or take, but it's a little bit more involved in that. And not only that, you can't sell it in every state. So now it goes back to you having to figure out what state to sell it in. Again, additional steps that right now, the less steps to success are going to be the better for you, right? And then once you get a little bit more acclimated, then it's like, hey, you know what? I can do a little bit more on that.
Okay.
Right. Sharanda?
Yeah, so I think you shared what I shared earlier when I responded to Regina, to just focus on the 3 and 4 right now. And when it comes to the super plan, is our old legal plan back when it was $17. So it has some limited coverage along with some other coverage, as Dunbar said, and most trainers don't really sell that plan. We do the basics and the personal legal because of the coverage that it offers separately. It is some clients out there that probably could benefit from the super, but like he said, it's just a certain area that does qualify for that super plan. And then like he said, it's not in every state. So the basics in the basic CDL and legal is mostly what every CDLP trainer normally sells because of the coverage that it offers. Okay. Yeah.
So give us your next question.
Okay. I think that answers. So if I'm out and about and it's just a single driver and, I'm doing my elevator pitch to a single driver, that's what I'm going to sell is the basic with the legal. So that kind of answered that question, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So I also heard something about a registration fee. So whenever I went over to my website and put CDL driver in the shopping cart, it was $25.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? So is that the only registration fee? Because thought I saw somewhere it was like $99. But is it only the $25?
Yeah, it's only the $25.
Okay.
And the reason why you probably saw something for $99, that was for something else. Whatever you saw, that's why it's a lot going on, because Legal Shield is a big company. They've been around for 50 years. They have a lot of products. So whatever you saw for the $99, it wasn't related to a registration fee for that particular plan.
Okay.
So none of our other memberships have a registration either. So right now, the only plan that you can sell to an individual that has a startup fee like that is the CDL plan, which is a $25 startup fee for that individual driver.
So for them to get started, they pay the $25 fee, they put the basic in their shopping cart, and they put legal in their shopping cart. And that's all that they'd have to pay to get going.
Yes. And then of course the first month of the membership.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So what is the difference in group and non-group pricing?
That depends on what plan you're talking about. So, so on the CDL plan, the difference is the non-group is $32.95 for that plan. So if I was selling Regina an individual CDL plan, it will be $32.95, and then it will be a $25 enrollment fee. On the family legal plan, that depends on the size of the group. There's some other things involved. Now, have you taken group training yet?
I've done the employee benefits training.
Right. So they got is it still level 1 and level 2, Sharanda?
Yes.
Okay. So you took both level 1 and level 2?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would do is they should have given you access to a pricing chart of membership, like what the membership costs, because there's different levels of that family plan when it comes to group. So I don't want to like tell you all the different prices. Plus, I don't even know them all by heart anyway,
Right.
Because they've got different prices. Because we got older plans, newer plans, and it's this ranges, and it depends on the amount of employees.
In the CDL training log, it's got in here. It says group plan and the other. So what I was wondering is if group plan is like whenever you go to the company and you got a whole bunch of them signing up, and non-group is if it's just me and an individual out on the street. That's what I was wondering if that meant.
Yeah, now the group type is $29.95 for the CDL. If I said it's $32.95 for just an individual plan, it's $29.95 for the CDLP group plan. But I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda because I don't want to answer all the questions. Sharanda, like as far as the group, like she obviously you heard the question. So like as far as group and there's two different things. So you got group and then you got individual. Like you said, it's different parameters that make it a group. When you're going to open up a group, so Sharanda can talk about that, like what makes it a group. And anybody else that don't know, because this is basic information, but this is a new person. So understand that some of us that's been around for a long time, we don't actually know the answers to some of these things because they're so basic, we skip over them. So if you don't know the answers to this stuff, definitely write the answers down for it because Regina is being brave enough after only being here for a little bit of time to ask these questions because sometimes we don't ask them. So Sharanda, if you want to touch on the group versus non-group.
So a group is when you are offering it to a company. So it could be an owner operator and he has his own authority and or not necessarily his own authority, but he has most likely, if he has his own truck, he may have registered his company as a business, but he's running up on another company's authority. But he may have his EIN number, his business form registered with the state. He's considered a company as well, which we call a group. Or it may be a company that has more than one driver. It could be, they could have 2 or 3 drivers. They could have 1,000 drivers. That's considered a company. That's considered a group. A company and a group in our setting is the same thing. Does that make sense? So you'll hear some people call a company, I open a new group. That means that they went to a company and opened it up and gave them a discount with employee benefit services.
Okay, so a group is definitely, and group or non-group, it's all the company and an individual person. That rate don't apply to them.
Non-group is an individual person.
Okay.
Non-group is the same wording as an individual. Non-group is not a group. It's an individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they pay the full price with enrollment fee.
Okay. The next one I had was, okay, the fee schedule, that chart, the states at a glance with September 1st, 2022. You know which schedule I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. It's got all those states listed and the different fees. So I know what we just talked about, but it looks like it's the same for all of the states all the way down. Like it's the same fee all the way down. But some of the states show basic and some of the states show basic and super. Like in Georgia, if you look at Georgia, it shows basic, but it don't show super.
That means you can't sell a super plan if the driver is standing in Georgia.
Okay,
The CDLP plan is based off where the driver is standing.
okay. As far as the Legal Shield membership application, somewhere in here, again, I've watched different video. It says that you have to have a CDL application and they have to do a Legal Shield app. So it's 2 applications.
If you're doing paper applications, but we have a digital platform now. That's why Dunbar was saying maybe it's best not to watch some of the old videos if you're new, because some of the language and things we talk about that are we've upgraded as a company. So if you had to send in paper applications for a company, you would have to do 2 separate applications, because our corporate, that's how they process the applications for a CDLP plan and a legal plan. Paper applications, those 2 plans have to be on 2 separate applications if you're sending in paper.
But if they're like on my website, they put it in their shopping cart, then they're done and I don't have to worry about anything. Okay. The CDLP training has a slide called Taking the Right Tools. And in that, it talks about taking the training handouts with the adjudicated page, the CSA point information, the questionnaire, the PPLSI Super CDL flyer, which we've already talked about. I'm not even going to do Super because I have no idea what I'm doing. But what else? What would I need to do for on-the-spot presentation? Other than learn the product, because in either Q3 or Q4, I want to say you said a lot of people are just memorizing what we say, but they don't really understand the product. They have no idea what the plan does. They're just, rehearsing what they've heard. And so I was wondering, what else would I need, in hand to do that? Because I've got all these basics printed out, and then the supers. And so then I just give them that and the Legal Shield printout.
Hey, Robert.
Miranda, you want to outline? You want to set John up on this question?
Hey, Robert and Sharanda.
Yeah.
This is Annette. I'm just listening to her. God bless her. She has done a lot of research. Regina, I'm just curious. These 2 people are experts, Sharanda and Robert. They're unbelievable. Believe me, they've helped me tremendously. Have you taken the CDLP?
She's taking it, and that I just sent her. Cool. I just sent her to the website, to the YouTube to watch video. She wasn't connected, so that's why she's asking a lot of questions, which is okay. This is what we're doing.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's you learn so much on this call. I can't say enough about it because I've been on it for a long time, and I respect that. She's doing her homework. So I just wanted to ask. I wasn't sure she took the CDLP, so that's why I was asking the question. Thank you.
Oh no, you're good. And again, some of the stuff she's asking, like this last question that Regina's asked, it's a lot of people who don't know what to take.
Exactly.
Like they really don't know what to take into a thing. But I keep saying John with all these pictures on Facebook of all of these presentations he's doing all over the United States. So I want him to be able to answer that question because I know he knows exactly what tools to use. and he loves talking about it. So John, you can unmute yourself, brother.
All right. Yeah, I just got back from a group enrollment. Unfortunately, it was not a CDL enrollment, but it was a group of about 200 teachers.
Good stuff.
And got a number of enrollments out of it. But yeah, there's a certain amount of tools you want to take with you when you go talk to a CDL prospect. Some tools you won't leave behind depending on who you talk to. If you get a hold of the decision maker, the tool you want to bring, or the tool that I bring, is the adjudication yellow sheet that talks about how we take away CSA points. I also bring in their SMS report. I'll print that out and I'll bring that in with me and show them exactly where we could have been able to help him. And if the conversation goes well from there, then I'll even plan about information about the plan, which is the basic flat sheet. Really won't talk to them about the legal shield plan because the owner of the decision maker, what's in it for him is we want to help him with the CSA scores, and that's what our CDLP plan does. Our regular legal shield plan does not, although we do say it does contribute to the reduction of distracted and driving when the driver is being distracted out there. So you might have that with you, but that's usually when you talk to the drivers about, not necessarily the decision maker. But that's, very few tools, you bring in with you the decision maker. And then if you're building a relationship, maybe follow up with something the next time you go there, but always get the next step. You always want to get the next step after you meet somebody. So don't just make it a one and done. It's not always that way. You have to make it a few appearances before they'll let you through that door. You just have to show them how valuable they are, and eventually you're going to come into the right time, and something's going to happen. And as transportation life, that's going to just swing that door wide open for you, because it's going to say, "Yeah, let's talk about this."
Okay, so for right now, just my basic flyer and the legal plan flyer, and then try to get them to download the app. And that's something else, is that people don't want to download something on their app, on their phone, and I'm like, I can send you this video and let you see, what we're doing. And I'm standing right there. And so I don't want to watch that. And I said, well, you can watch it on my phone. And then I wanted to share, this happened today, and then I wanted to share the app link where they download it on their phone so they can fill out the application and everything. And that's when the resistance, that wall came right up. Conversation was over. So
yeah. I wouldn't put that much pressure on anybody, and that's just a sales thing. It's not even about, CDL or family or any of that stuff. Like, don't the less steps you take with a prospect, a potential customer, the easier it is to convert them, right? So if that person is interested in getting the membership, whip your laptop out or whatever it is you're using, tablet or whatever, and enroll them yourselves and ask them questions. So if I'm talking to John and I'm across from John and John is interested in the plan, I say, well, let's go ahead and get you rolled so we can get you protected in case something happens. You've got your coverage in place. I'm going to go ahead and ask you a couple of questions and get you enrolled. I'm going to pull up my website on my tablet and I'm going to type the answers into those questions. And then when it comes to the bank information, if they seem like they're uncomfortable giving it to me, I may take my tablet and turn around and say, go ahead and put your credit card in here and then click submit or whatever. Does that make sense? So always have the prospect take as less steps as you possibly can, right? Even with websites. So a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about landing pages and about somebody's join now or buy now or whatever. The more clicks they have to hit to enroll, the less chance they're going to enroll. So I do as much work for my client as possible. Does that make sense?
it does. It's just that I don't know. If I was putting my credit card information in something, I'd rather do it on my phone than somebody else's. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was.
But don't think about yourself, because you're not selling the plan to you, right? No, I'm saying this is sales stuff. Like, always think about whatever makes that customer happy, and don't be afraid to ask that question. Say, would you like to do this on your phone, or would you like me to do it over on my side? And I just ask you the question, because some people will be like, no, I don't want to do all that stuff. Just go ahead and do it and ask me the question. And say, I'll go ahead and give you my tablet when it's time to put your bank information in, so you're comfortable doing that. Oh no, I'll give you my credit card. You see what I mean? Just ask them the question. It's the same way when I prospect. When people call me and say, should I send them a video or send them some information like templates or material? I say, did you ask them? Right? So Sharanda, would you like something that you can listen to, something that you can read, or something that you can watch? Let her give me that answer, and then I'm gonna send her the material that's based that way. Because some people literally want something that they can put their eyes on. Some people are contract reader type people that saying, I don't want no video telling me what this membership is going to do. I want to see it in writing. right? And normally that's somebody that's older, meaning when I say older, like over 40 years old, you're typically going to be like, I want to see it in black and white because that's kind of more of an old school thing. If you're a younger person and you grew up with a tablet and a phone when you were 3 or 4 years old, right? You're 25 now, it's like, I'm not reading nothing. Send that sucker to me as a video. So it just depends on the age of that client that you're talking to. But I always ask instead of just guessing. You don't want to have to guess. Just ask. Ask them how they want to look at it. Ask them how they would like to get enrolled and give them an option, right?
Yeah.
Would you like me to go do it on my website or on my tablet right now? Just give them an option and then let them choose and then go ahead and proceed with the enrollment, right?
Yeah, Alistair brought some of that up in the Q4 webinar, and just like what you're saying, that's not salesy at all. You know, and how I was doing it is very much salesy. I haven't learned how to make it organic yet, you know? And so I appreciate you saying it like that, because I'm still in sales mode and I hadn't toned it down the way you, because if you know, if I saw you on the street and you was doing that, I was like, sure, here, you know. So, and I would want the option myself.
But congrats though, really though, on doing what you're doing. You're going to get better, right? You're going to get better because guess what? You're talking to people already. The fact that you're telling me that you're in front of people doing a presentation, again, there's a lot of people that'll be in this business for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year and still haven't presented to anybody because they have that limited belief, or they procrastinate or whatever. So really it's these questions that you're asking are good questions because it's allowing us to give answers to everybody, not just you. And the fact that you're approaching people and talking to them already, you're going to get better. You're going to get more comfortable, and right, you're going to get yourself in a position where you're going to be like, it's going to be smooth. It's going to be smooth. It's just about being comfortable and confident when you're doing it. And the more you do it, it's going to organically get better for you.
Yeah, I do my presentation going down the road.
You
know, I'm in the car an hour and a half, 2 hours going to a job site. And so I did write down DOT numbers and looked them up, and I printed some stuff out. So when Sharanda and I can get together, I'm gonna schedule a meet with her so we can talk these over. And but I don't feel I'm ready yet. I don't feel I've learned enough about the product, and I have been researching. You know, what do all these initials y'all keep saying? What do they mean, and how do they? You know, how do they affect somebody? So I've been doing some of that. I think that's all the actual questions I have. And now I'm just ready to sit back and take some notes and learn from you guys.
Well, just remain coachable. You're working with Sharanda. Sharanda is one of the best field trainers in the company. So, I mean, just whatever she's saying, just do it.
That's right.
I can't tell you no better than that. If she tell you to do it, just do it. And you'll see that you'll start seeing your numbers move because the business is working, because she knows what she's doing. So,
thank you.
Absolutely. No. And thank you for the question. We appreciate you. Yeah. So Miss Vanessa, what's up?
Hello.
How are you?
Yes, thanks for Gina for the questions.
Good stuff. So let me get you pinned up here with us. Okay, here you go. All right. So what you got for us, Vanessa?
I just had one quick question. And I remember last week you said you were discussing the best trucks to prospect, and we mentioned 18-wheelers, but that's the only one I wrote down.
That's the only one.
Is it?
Really? Now, John and Sharanda, you know, they may have a different answer to that, but for me, it's like 18-wheelers are, you know, Lamar did a whole bunch of going after tow trucks in Texas.
Yes, this is Wilma.
Me personally, hold on, let me figure out who. I don't even know.
I muted her.
Okay. So for me, 18-wheelers are the low-hanging fruit because those are the ones that get in trouble. Today I saw two different times. I saw two unmarked vehicles pulling over. I saw a Corvette, a silver Corvette that was completely unmarked, had an 18-wheeler pulled over. So they got these cops in cars that's not even marked. So these drivers are driving around, they doing whatever they're doing on the road that's getting them pulled over, and they getting pulled over and they're not, it's not state troopers, it's not regular, city police. I mean, 2 different times. One was a Corvette and one was the F-150 that had 18 wheelers pulled over. So to me, that's the low hanging fruit. But is that the only people you can go after? No, it's not the only people. But I think that that's low hanging fruit when you're starting out, or if you're saying I don't want to get too big. I think those companies with 10, 15, 20 drivers or less, 18 wheeler companies, those are going to be your best prospects. But that's my opinion. So Sharanda and John, they can talk about how they feel about that.
Well, actually, I think the best prospect is any company that's running under authority, any company that are governed by FMCSA. So if you find that person is safer, of course, the semis will fall into that, but you have a lot of other equipment, but anybody running up under FMCSA authority, or whether they're in-state or interstate, are your best your best prospects for me.
Okay. Thank you all.
John?
Yeah, that's right. Our best products, our best prospects are 18 wheelers, or in some of the smaller states that go interstate. Some of these more eastern states where they might have like 5 states in a very small area. If they're going out of state, even for like a regular box truck, it's not an 18 wheeler. If they're making deliveries out of state with a DOT motor carrier authority on their door, those are good prospects too, because they're putting themselves at risk every time they cross a state line. But any trucking company that is 18 wheeler, especially out of state, interstate travel, or you're one of these smaller states, that smaller trucking company can cross state lines very easily. So like from Delaware to Pennsylvania to New Jersey, in a small area, a small square foot area, or a square mile area. All those are good prospects.
Perfect. Thank you. And we didn't have a website that where we can specifically search for 18 wheelers, right?
Oh, 18. What John just said what I just said. So every company that's in safer, like John said, it may be a box truck, like, it might be a semi, like Dunbar just said, but any truck that's running up under FMCSA, authority, or, they may just have a DOT number, not an MC number. Those are your best prospects. And in that database, it's going to be semis, it's going to be a box truck, it's going to be a hot shot, those companies. And that site tells you actually what type of equipment it is, honestly. It doesn't say it right there, but it's in that site. And it's those companies, Miss Vanessa. All those types of equipment are in safer. Yeah.
And see, every time I go in safer, I've only been going into under company snapshot.
We always get a good laugh on this call every Monday. If anybody is not in the proper mood, please get on this. We gonna laugh. That's
so
why you
instead
can't,
of going in,
find no companies, Vanessa, because you on Snapchat.
I'm on Snapchat. That's the deal. That's why I ain't closing no groups. I'm on Snapchat, TikTok. I forget. So I must be doing this because I only go into safer through the company snapshot. So is there another search that we should be selecting to get like a full list of the trucks on the safer site?
No, what I'm saying is that just the way you're doing it, Ms. Harris, Ms. Vanessa, if the truck, this is just like Lamar teaches you, don't have to know the type of equipment it is. As long if it's in that database and their numbers are bad, that's your prospect.
But I'm saying, let's just say I don't even have a DOT number. I'm just looking for a truck. I'm looking for an 18-wheeler.
Okay. So you want to go to the company snapshot to do that? That's what you're saying?
He
Right,
said,
is that
I think Vanessa's saying that that's all she knows how to do. So I guess what Vanessa's saying is she just goes to Safer when she has the number to research a company.
right,
You don't know where to actually find the companies to research.
right.
So she's like basically like how John talks about in the beginning of the 3 and 4.
Truckdriver.com is what we
Yeah.
teach in the trainings. So do you go to truckdriver.com?
I hadn't used that in a while.
I
Because
promise
what I
you,
was trying
it's 50 people on here minus me, Dunbar, and John. You know, so it's 47. Most of the people on here that are researching are using truckdriver.com. That's where you start. That's where your companies are. Now you can go
There
to
you go. I completely forgot about this one. I got you. I've used this one before. My apologies,
Yeah,
y'all.
that's where you go.
Brain freeze.
company.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So and like John and Sharanda we're talking about on the training. When you go to truckdriver.com and then pull an area, pull a company that you want to talk to or look at, you can go to their snapshot from there.
Right,
You
right.
can go, like that company, it'll be a link where you can click and it'll take you right to pull their score. So you go there, find a company, then go and pull their information.
Perfect. Thank you, Miss Ivy, for the reminder. Yeah, I had just gotten so involved in going to that the violation FMCSA site first. And I completely forgot about this one. Okay, I'm good. Thank you all.
See, there you go. So Regina, your hand is up again. You got a question?
Yes, whenever I was going over there to the sites and it would say straight truck. What is a straight truck?
It could be a semi, it could be a hot shot, it could be a lot of things. It's just the truck part though. Because if you sometimes, on Safer, you're looking, it'll tell you what type of trailer they have too. So, but yeah, it could be anything. It could be a box truck. It could be a lot of different types of equipment.
Okay, so nothing necessarily specific, just anything.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer is what separates the dry van, the flatbeds, the reefers. That's those wordings, those are trailers.
Okay, so yeah.
And basically, like Sharanda was saying a minute ago, it doesn't matter whether it's a straight truck or whatever it said. What matters is that they're in, like they have they're being monitored like through DOT, and there's a chance for violation, and that's what makes them a prospect. So the fact that it says straight truck or whatever it says, at the end of the day, if they're in FMCSA and they like Sharanda was saying, they got DOT number and they can be they're being inspected, that's what makes them a prospect for us as a legal shield or PPLSI CDL sellers. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was seeing like, the local hardware stores and of course tow trucks and me working in the construction, I see dump trucks and all kinds of DOT numbers. Sharanda, you're gonna be so proud of me. I got so many DOT numbers. But anyway, so I like Vanessa's question, like, do we focus on semis? Because whenever you go to that list and you start putting things in, I mean, it was like Brooks Auto Parts, it's just a local person and they have a DOT number on the side of a delivery truck, you know what I mean? So.
That could be your prospect, or if you research it, they might have bad numbers. If they're driving up under the authority, the FMCSA rules.
There you go. So that's it. No more questions? I don't see no more hands up. Going once? Going twice? All right. What other information we want to give Sharanda and John before we break out of here? Training next week. Training next
Saturday.
Week. Saturday. Oh, well, this week. Yeah, 15th. Yeah. So we got a training this week, the 15th. So if you're not certified, get certified by the 14th. 3 p.m. Central Time, or you're not gonna be able to get in the class. So anybody needs that refresher, go ahead and take care of that. Thursday, Sharanda has her accountability call for CDLP. I just put that, I put earlier that link for the CDLP video, the one that we looked at a few weeks ago. The new link is in there, which is, I guess the old link was broken. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of that as well. So
yeah, so it's 49 on here now. So Dunbar promoted the upcoming training. So if you haven't taken a CDLP training, say in the last 3-4 months, jump it, because they may do one more and they may not. A lot of times around Christmas, they may not do another one until the first of the year. So if you haven't taken a refresher, say in the last 4 or 5 months, go ahead and jump in. Chris and Alan Roman, Chris Seeley out of El Paso, and Alan Roman, our senior CDLP trainer. They will be doing that training. I'm not sure if the law firm will be on, but most of the time when those two are on, Alan will have the law firm on, which gives a lot of good information. I think the last time we had Mr. Ray Hall was on when I trained, and I think they had the top consultant for the company was on with Dunbar. Remember
yes.
Dunbar?
Mm-hmm.
And they just bring a lot of different information. So if you haven't taken a class, I say in the last 4 or 5 months, I would jump in on that class. If you have some new team members, so if you recruited some new team members, know that they can't sell this CDLP plan without the certification. And everybody know a truck driver. So you're trying to get them fast start qualified. You got two plans right there sometimes, however you do it. But if you got some new recruits, get them in onto the class, because it may not be another one until January. So if you have a team call, share it on your team call that, this may be the last CDLP class before the end of the year. It may be another one that come, I'm not really sure. So we're in October. They may do one in November, but November may be the last one. So just keep that in mind, okay? Just want to put that out there, okay? So I don't know, Mr. Ray Hall may be on there. I'm not sure. He's normally on there with that, with those two. And he'll bring some good information about what's going on, what type of tickets they're getting, how to handle, how to talk to your prospects about things that are going on in the different states.
Willie Tober said Fred Rahal is going to be on there.
Yeah, see? Yep, they normally have him on there. So if you haven't taken a class and able to hear him, because these classes are not recorded, it'll be a good class to get on, definitely, for sure.
Yep. Agreed. Get refreshed. And
we're going to promote the Blitz tomorrow. Tomorrow you have the Blitz, so you can jump on with everybody in Legal Shield and make dials. And then on Wednesday we have the Expo. I think Melissa Wilder, $300,000 ring earner, small biz VIP will be on there. You can remember, you can cross sell here. I did that last year. I still do it, but I really focused on that last year to protect these commercial companies. So definitely get on there so you can learn the product. She may talk about different things, but Melissa she talks sales, just like Dunbar. She talks sales. And if you can wrap yourself around what we do here and what those companies are going through, you can definitely do some consultative selling. That's how I sold a lot of small business plans.
Absolutely. And is there anything going on Thursday, Sharanda? Is there anything during the daytime going on Business Solutions on Thursday?
If you're recruiting solution space, they host a recruiting. Bill Stovall, he's VP of the field associates and solutions. He's over like, he's the field person.
Mhm.
And he hosts a recruiting call where you can, invite your business solutions prospects to hear a business solutions overview.
Okay. So for those that fall into that category, I would definitely say Bill Stovall knows his stuff. He used to be our regional at one time. Definitely get in on that. If you're saying I'm not recruiting business solutions people, I'm not doing the insurance agent thing, I'm not working with those people, what I would suggest that you do is duplicate what you did on Tuesday with the Blitz, right? We know Wednesday is the expo, which means you get a break. So if you're saying Tuesday is the expo, Tuesday is the Blitz, Wednesday is the expo, Thursday go back and make more calls again, right? I challenge you to do that. Block another 2 hours on Thursday so that you can go back. So you got a break in between calls because you did calls, training, calls. Does that make sense? So put it on your calendar to make 2 more hours of calls on Thursday. Because again, if all you're doing is the Blitz on Tuesday and you block another 2 hours on Thursday, you have now doubled your calls or doubled your call time. You may not necessarily double your calls, but you're doubling the amount of time you're giving yourself to make calls. So again, if Legal Shield can set, or PPLSI can set a 2-hour Blitz and you get on it and call, why can't you set your own on the days that Legal Shield or PPLSI does not have one? Why can't you set your own as an individual business owner to say, I'm going to do the same thing I did for the Blitz. I'm going to do it on my own, on my own time frame. Like I said, look and see if you can find an accountability partner to do that with. Cut that Zoom on and have each other on the Zoom so y'all can, feel like y'all keeping each other company and make those calls for 2 hours, an hour and a half, however long you need to do it, so that you can get some more calls in. Because those calls are going to help you with success. That's where that's at. John, anything?
No, just don't give up. Success will come your way. Just have to get through that learning period, and when you're through it, you'll be amazed how just starts coming to you, manifest itself to you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I don't know when the last time we finished at 9:33.
Dunbar, I want to say, so for the recruiting call, because I know a lot of people do this. They'll say, I know this truck driver, I know this person who owns this trucking company, they know a lot of other trucking people and da-da-da-da-da. I want to recruit them. Well, that call with Bill Stovall is the call you need. And that might not be this week. So check the calendar. I don't know if it's every week, but it's on Thursdays. But check the calendar. That's the recruiting call you need to get your business owners on. That recruiting call. Because he will talk about talking to other companies and, in the space at which you are looking for him to refer you to or bring in other people. That's the call versus putting them on your team recruiting call. That's going to talk more on the networking side. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to recruit business owners and those individuals, that's the recruiting call you should be trying to get your prospects that own those businesses and those companies on that call. It's a difference.
That's good. That's good. If you haven't gotten on that, I would suggest getting on that just to see.
Yeah, just get on and see and listen. Yeah, how different it is from your team recruiting call.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Good stuff. All right, guys. Regina, is your hand up again, or was it up from last time? You're muted. Regina, you muted. We can't hear you. You talking to yourself.
Okay. I know, but I do that all the time. So the other day, I think it was Ms. Sharanda was saying that sometimes we might call a company that's already has the legal plan, and we just, graciously, bow out. But does Legal Shield have a page where they've listed all of the business solution clients so that we can just go over there and look this person up and see if they're already with us? Like, do they have a spreadsheet or anything we can resource?
No, they taught in level 2, they taught how to call into corporate and check and see if a company has already have our services, or you can email in to check that. That's how you check on that.
Yeah, I remember that, but I just didn't know if
That's how you do it. That's it.
Man, that's okay.
It's not, no, that's how you do it.
And just so people know too, because I get like that question, like people always ask that question, why doesn't legal ship? They don't, because every company does not want their business out there. They have to get permission. You can't just say a company has this benefit. You can't tell the public that a company has a benefit at their company. Does that make sense? So Arancia may not want everybody in Legal Shield to know that that's her account. You see what I mean? So when I open up a group, I don't want my groups on some spreadsheet for everybody in Legal Shield to see that that's a group. So it's about that. That's why. So just so everybody know that's why corporate does, because everybody thinks that it's just easier if corporate does that, but there's privacy issues, right? That's why corporate doesn't do that. So you have to definitely follow the process that they have in place.
Can't go to United Healthcare and see who all got United Healthcare as a company.
Yeah, right.
You can't do that. Like we're business. We got to think. That those things are business.
Yeah. I mean, corporate goes to the point to where even if I know something is a group, they won't even tell me who the agent is.
Right.
Corporate doesn't that because it's that they can't, like, right. So if it's Jerry's group, then they're gonna say, no, we can't tell you who group it is. It's a group. Get out of there. That's all. Don't worry about who group it is. Well, can I have the associate's number so I can call them? No. We'll let the associate know you want to reach out to them and they'll call you. We ain't gonna give you their phone number. So it's just a privacy thing, just because, like Sharenta said, we're in business. So we have to, they're keeping it professional by saying, hey, look, if we say that that's an account, just stay out of there. If you need any more information, we'll let the owner of that account know you're reaching out. And if they would like to talk to you, they'll call you. That's pretty much how that works. And hopefully that's good for other people too that may have had that question. So thank you for that question, Regina. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and close out. It's 9:38. We appreciate you guys again for being with us. We look forward to seeing you guys all next week. So Blitz on Tuesday, Expo on Wednesday, and then Blitz again on Thursday, or jump on Bill Stovall's recruiting call, or do both.
We have a level 2 on Friday. They're free for everybody this month, so you better get in.
Woo, free. I hear free. Free?
That's free. Free. Level 2 is Friday with Mike Riches.
Free level 2.
Yeah, free.
That means if you take CDLP on Saturday, that means you got to buy one, get one. So you pay for the CDLP, you get the level 2 on Friday and the CDLP on Saturday. I mean, I'm just saying it's BOGO. If anybody go to Publix, I know some of y'all don't have that in y'all area, but I go to Publix on Wednesday for the BOGO. So just so y'all know.
I'll give you a tip though, for real though, with all these free. If you go back to these classes, just say this week, you make a list this week and you go to the Blitz and you call and you like, oh, okay, ooh, that was hard. But then you go to the expo and Melissa trains on small biz and her consultant selling. I bet you'll get some tips that you probably could have used on the Blitz. But then you go on and you think about, okay, I did talk to a person and he seemed like he knows a lot of people. And if we have the recruiting call on Thursday, you call him back and invite him to the Thursday. But go ahead and sign up for level 2, because you go back to level 2 and you take level 2 like you've never taken it before, because it's free. So you go and you focus on the class like you're a new associate, and because you had all this activity this week, and you go back to level 2 and you just got a different mindset. But then you take Saturday CDLP and you put it all together. I bet you next week will be different for you. I promise you that.
I hear that Sharenta IB action plan. She just
I mean, that's what I did. I became a new associate and I took, as Mike Hume said, I took some different notes and I went to those classes different. But I did the activity to get to those classes. But when I got to the class, I took the class and I took different notes. And I pulled out what I needed because I had been doing the activity. So I knew the things that was attractive to help me. Mm-hmm. So, because sometimes people just go to class and just go, say they were there. And it's virtual, so you you're doing 1,000 things like laundry and everything. You're not taking copious notes and you're not getting what you need. But if you do the activity, you go to the class looking for different results.
Right. Because if you went out Thursday and somebody told you to get out their place and you called somebody on Thursday and they hung up on you, you like this Friday class, you like, I'm gonna take a note because I got cussed out yesterday. See, it's different. You take a different note because you've been told off and you're like, I don't want that to happen again. But if you ain't going out there and doing nothing, you're gonna take the class like you took it the last time. Because nothing has happened in between taking it the first time and taking it the second time. Nothing has happened. So that's good. I like that action plan. So yeah, I'll get an email from me at some point with some of this stuff I just stole from Sharanda. That'll be in the email. Y'all, so y'all have it as a reminder. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot for hanging with us as usual. If y'all need anything, you let us know.
Good night, all. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night, everyone. Thanks again.
Fun.
Good night.
See you next week. Bye-bye now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Anthony just laughing at you, Dunbar. Good night, Anthony. He gone. Good night.